great sage. How can one become a very good astrologer and make accurate predictions?
O Maitreya, foremost amongst my disciples, this again is a very excellent question that I'm happy to answer. And the way I'm going to answer it is by telling everyone about the answer that my Jyoti-Guru K said when I asked him this question. So way back in a faraway place, actually it was 1996 back in India, and I had gone to be with K because he stopped coming to the U.S. Towards the end of my stay there, he took me traveling with him, mostly around to sacred sites, temples, Vrindavan, and so on and so forth. And one day after a long bus ride, we were having dinner together, and I looked at him and said, I shared with him my ambition to become a good astrologer, a good predictive astrologer like him. And I asked him what his recommendation would be. And he looked at me and he said, Mark, over a period of 10 years, work on thousands of horoscopes, noting the timing of events, noting the main facts of the person in their life as that is reflected in their birth chart. And after you do this, then you'll become a good predictive astrologer. Of course, that was rather intimidating. 10 years, thousands of charts. But you know what? I did that. And over a period of 10 years, I worked on so many charts, noting the events and how those events got reflected astrologically. This is why I say Jyotish will teach you Jyotish, because if you do that, you'll learn things that aren't even maybe something that you were taught or something that you're finding in a book. Now, I never became as good a predictor as he is, but I did learn to predict and have been able to predict. And so this was the sound advice that I would give everyone. Now, it doesn't mean that after 3 years or 5 years, you won't also start to be good. It doesn't take 10 years to become good. But, he would talk about what he called saturated experience, meaning having looked at so many charts, having worked on so many charts, you begin to recognize things that you've seen before. And I've used the analogy of a doctor who is very experienced, and he sees a set of symptoms and he recognizes it as being a certain kind of disorder that he can then correctly diagnose and therefore treat. And with Jyotish, you're starting to have this saturated experience if you have worked on so many charts. He himself, he once showed me, I was at his place where he was living. We would call it a condominium that he was living in, right? And he showed me this shelf that was covered with all these notebooks, 20,000 horoscopes, many of which had actually been calculated manually by hand, because this was before the times of computers, with at least 10 events noted in each chart. This is what he had done, and this is how he had become an excellent astrologer. It was through hard work and effort. Now, he was a brilliant man, and had a brilliant intellect. And that was a part of it too. And he had a very developed intuition based on his spiritual practice, so that he could not just understand what a certain combination would give in a birth chart, but also understand what it was going to mean in that person's specific life, which goes a little beyond astrology, a little beyond astrological analysis. But really, it was by working on so many horoscopes over a period of time, as I said, noting their events, seeing how those events are being reflected astrologically in the different ways they can be reflected, is what made him the astrologer he is. And my following his advice has served me well also. And so this is what I would say about how to become a good astrologer, how to learn to predict.
Thank you, a great sage.
You're welcome, oh great disciple.
Great disciple.